Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. Today I'm going to be doing another SGC Grades reveal. I just got a 14 card submission back from SGC. It's a good mix of stuff that is going to stay in the PC. There's one Reholder, there's one crossover, and then a few items that will be probably, sale or trade items I'm probably not going to stick around with. And it's a good mix of older stuff and a couple of newer, more modern cards too that I sent in. And pretty much if you've watched the channel before, you've probably seen most of, if not all of these cards. A few of them were binder cards that I've decided to kind of move on from my vintage binder that I've thinned out quite a bit in order to sort of pay for other things, PC-wise, and a few that I just thought were kind of worth sending into grade. So going to share that in a minute. I'm going to go over to the table and do that. First off, just want to say shout out to my friend, to your friend, Orlando of A Collector's Dream. I was really honored to be part of the Get Well Soon video that was on Tony Southern Collector's channel. There was a lot of us that were involved in it. It was a great long video. It was really nice, huge outpouring from the community for one of the true nice people. And Orlando, if you're watching this, I hope you're resting, relaxing, continue to recover from your surgery. We're all still thinking about you. And I look forward to seeing you at the National and giving you a big hug. We've never met in person before. You're probably one of the top people that I was looking forward to meeting for the first time at the National. And I know that we'll be there together, and I look forward to seeing you, man. So take it easy, rest up, and we'll see you soon, okay? All right. Now, before I get into the grades, I did think it was worth it for me to spend a little bit of time talking about the hot topics that have sprouted up around YouTube on the future of SGC. This all stemmed from Greg, Midlife Cards. He does his sort of monthly, I believe, off topic with Darren from Return to Collecting, and they had Mike Moynihan, baseball collector, on. And it was a rollicking discussion. And Mike Moynihan said some stuff that I think really got people's attention. And Mike said that he believes that within 3 years, SGC will no longer exist, and it might even be sooner than that. And when Mike says something, people listen. And there was there were response videos, and then last week Greg had Tony and Mike Petty and Darren on his live, and it was just a great discussion. It was good. The chat was on fire. It was a lot of fun to talk about all this stuff. So I thought that I would give some thoughts. I really try to come at this as a collector. And again, I tend not to sort of wade into a lot of these controversial topics. I did a video not that long ago about PSA where I was kind of complaining about how slow things were with them. And it doesn't feel right for this channel. Like, I try to keep things positive here, and I like to talk about the history of all this stuff, but I didn't really expect that I was going to really work on growing my collection. Like, the whole purpose of starting this channel was to open old wax and talk about who is inside. And it grew into, I'm going to build the 59 set, and then I really got back into building a PC, which I hadn't done in decades. And so with that has come all this other stuff that I don't necessarily love talking about on this channel. And that is like business stuff, things that I feel like are a bit out of my depth to talk about. I just want to come at the SGC discussion as somebody who collects and who sends cards into grade. And what I can tell you is that I have sent in 9 submissions to SGC since they were acquired by collectors. And what I can tell you is that I believe that SGC has continued to be very consistent in their grading. And you're going to see this with the grades that I got in this order, where I feel like it's the same as always. There's maybe 2 or 3 that I wish had graded higher. There's maybe a couple that I'm pleasantly surprised that they did grade higher. And everything else is pretty much what I expected. I know there are some folks that send a lot of stuff to SGC that feel like their grading has slipped and that they're not as consistent as they were. That's fine for them anecdotally if they think that. I haven't experienced that in the last year plus. I think they're still doing a pretty good job. I haven't had to reach out to SGC's customer service recently. I did around Christmas when I sent in an order and I wanted to make sure that they got it because of like holidays and stuff like that. And my experience with SGC customer service has always been that they get back to you right away with a good answer, as opposed to PSA's customer service where they don't get back to you right away and they give you a bad answer. I still think that SGC is doing a really good job with customer service. Again, I'm just talking about my experience. Okay. Now, obviously, the big shift, and this is not just me, but what they've changed in their business, is that the 5 to 10 day turnaround, 5 to 10 business day turnaround on grading cards has increased to 15 to 20 days. They made that change at the end of March, near the end of March. And that to me is the biggest change. But they've been transparent about that. And that's still a hell of a lot faster than PSA. That's not, the fact that they've gone from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 doesn't make me want to grade my cards with PSA, because A, I have to pay money to get the lowest rate on a bulk submission, number one. And number two, even if I do send in a bulk submission, I think it's 60 days, 65 business days. So SGC is still way superior to PSA in that regard. One good thing about this submission that I sent in was that they met the turnaround. It was right within that 15 to 20 business days. I sent it in late March. It was, I think, day 17 or 18 that it was graded. A previous submission that I had sent in went to post-grading, and it was several days before it was shipped. So that was disappointing last time, but this time it was the way that it had been previously, where it went into post-grading and then it shipped the next day. That's positive. I do wonder about that turnaround, and I wanted to show, so one thing that's come out in the last couple of days, and I'm going to put this info up here, and I'm going to look at it on my screen here, is that the GemRate came out with their data for the month of April of how much stuff had been graded. And I'm going to start by showing in March, SGC graded 174,000 cards total. And that was a big both month over month and year over year increase. And that was when Pete Steinberg announced that they had to change the turnaround to 15 to 20 days. Well, let's look at April. They graded fewer cards in April compared to March. And the year over year change was not that high. So I go back to what Pete Steinberg said. He didn't really say in his message about this that it was temporary. He really didn't say that. So I do think that the 15 to 20 day turnaround is here to stay. Again, that's a lot better than PSA still. So I'm not too worried about that part of it. I did also want to show that in March for sports card items, SGC mostly graded sports cards. They went up year over year and month over month, quite a bit year over year and quite a bit also month over month. But then April, they graded fewer sports cards. And they did grade a lot more year over year, but they graded fewer in April. And so I wanted to then also share that on Instagram, where this was posted, Joe, Redneck Collector, please go check out Joe's channel if you haven't previously. He posted this comment saying, it seems the theory that SGC was slow because of all the submission growth was not actually the case. They just got slower. So you could say that, so why did that happen? Well, it could be because they've implemented processes from collectors that has slowed them down, that it's not just about the cards that have come in. It's that maybe what's going on is that they've implemented new processes that are maybe cost-cutting measures to slow things down. But it's still a lot slower, a lot faster than PSA. So that could be the sign that there are going to be more changes at SGC. But from my standpoint, what I believe, and I go back to what I have said more recently, which is that I collect cards. I don't collect slabs. If SGC goes away, it's not because of some great scandal. It's because collectors decided that they were better off without them. And I don't think that's going to change the value of their slabs, because ultimately the card is what matters. It's what should matter. I'm not going to get hung up on what's going to happen to SGC. In my opinion, they still do a really good job. The only thing that has changed in my view is that they are slower at grading cards, but they're still way better at it than PSA. Collectors is going to have to decide what they want to do long-term with SGC. And I appreciate everybody's opinions about this, and everybody brings their own experience. I've been through M&A in my industry quite a bit. and I've seen it happen. I do think SGC is going to continue to see changes. I do think Pete Steinberg will probably be out at some point. That's just what happens when a not a founder CEO, but like somebody high up in the company sells the company. They probably want to go and start their own next thing. That happens all the time, and I could see that happening with Pete. Pete Steinberg, if you watch this channel, please come on. I'd love to talk to you. But you know, I think that there will continue to be changes, but hopefully, to date, a year plus into the acquisition, in my opinion, the changes have not been drastic. But I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that I'm going to keep collecting cards. I'm not going to worry about what happens to my collection when... See, I'm the type of person that I try not to get worked up and angry and upset about things that I have no control over. What I can control is what cards I buy and what I send in for grading. And if it's not going to be SGC, it'll be somebody else. I'll have to deal with the crap from PSA, most likely. But that's just how it goes. I'll continue to speak with my wallet and spend money with SGC. And I will continue to buy cards and not slabs. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So anyway, I've talked long enough. Let's go look at some baseball cards. Let's go look at some slabbed baseball cards, but baseball cards on the left. So I'm going to head over to the table and we will take a look at the 14 cards that came in from SGC today. Okay, so I said we'll look at baseball cards, but there are a few non-baseball cards in this stack right here that I have. So like I said, 14 cards. Excuse me. There's one Reholder, and it's a card you've seen before. It was a card that I won in REA, and it is this 1922 Nielsen's Chocolates. Let me try to focus this a little bit here. Yeah, there you go. Nielsen's Chocolate, Grover Cleveland Alexander. This was just in an old PSA holder, and an old SGC holder. And I did decide to get it reholdered so that it fits in with the kind of rest of my collection. So there may be more coming up in the next few days here that you'll learn on the channel about Grover Cleveland Alexander, something I'm really excited to talk about once the card comes in. But all right, so that was that one. So the rest of these I will cover up the grades with my handy dandy method, the Postit Note. I've been criticized for stuff like this in the past. So you've seen this card. This was a crossover. I crossed over this Dizzy Dean rookie 33 Gaudy from PSA. It wasn't a PSA 1 holder. And I just wanted to have it in SGC. Just, again, I guess I'm maybe even in the time since I sent this in, I'm less inclined to do this anymore in terms of, just reholdering stuff. Because again, I want to buy cards and not slabs. But I was really not expecting this to move from a 1. And it did not move from a 1. So it is still a 1. It is an SGC 1 now, and it's I'm pretty happy to have this in an SGC slab now. So all right, now let's go in reverse chronological order. I think that's what the cards will be. And I had said that I wanted to get a couple of cards from some of my favorite players, my favorite Boston players, and here is a 2003-2004 Parkhurst Original 6 Patrice Bergeron rookie card that I bought raw on eBay. And I just wanted to have it in a slab. I didn't really care that much about what kind of grade it got. And I think this is like a Canadian brand. And it got an 8.5. So nice grade there on a really nice card. This is one that I'm pretty psyched to have in the PC. My favorite Bruins hockey player of all time for sure. So, all right. And then speaking of favorites, I would say pretty much my favorite basketball player of all time, my favorite Celtic of all time is Paul Pierce. I mean, I grew up with him basically. Champion in 08. So this is his Topps Finest rookie card. I did pull the covering off of it, and you could see that it's not perfect. It had some chipping and stuff like that. But it's still a cool 90s refractor, and you can't really go wrong with those. So I wasn't expecting like a 10 or anything like that. I wasn't even really expecting a 9, and it did get an 8. So again, just similar to the Bergeron, this will just stick in the PC. It's a really nice card. All right. Now we'll get into the rest of these are all vintage baseball. And the first one is one that is definitely going to stick in the PC, just because it's not a high grade card, but it's just a card that I love. It's my 69 Johnny Bench. I bought this from my friend Bill on Twitter. Bill's a great guy. If you buy on Twitter, you know Bill. And he always sends really nice handwritten notes. And he had a really nice story about with this card that he told a story about when he and his son met Johnny Bench at a signing, and it was so nice. This was in my binder for a while. When I decided to kind of consolidate the binder, I decided that there were a few cards I wanted to grade and keep, or grade and sell. And again, off center, not great corners. Was not expecting a high grade at all in this. I was really kind of expecting somewhere in the 1 to 2 range, honestly, on this. And I got it back, and it got a 1.5. So totally fine with that. Again, this is a PC card 100% of the way. And this is easily my favorite Johnny Bench card. I mean, I think that's like, I know I'm not alone in feeling that way. So happy to add this one to the PC. All right, the next few cards are definitely ones that I probably will not keep in the PC. The first one is from my old 63 set build. One of the cards that I had kept originally was this Hank Aaron 63. And again, tough bottom portion here, tough corners, a little bit, off center. Centering is so tough on the 63 set. And then you see the backs. Gosh, the backs. I love the backs of the 63s. You see almost like a pencil mark or something there. Again, I wasn't expecting a huge grade. I was hoping for maybe a 3, but it just got a 2. Can live with that. Again, this will probably be bundled as part of some sort of a deal to get something else that I want. I'm fine with that. A couple of 6, and they're staying in the same year, but with the different set, is the 63 Fleers. And you gotta love the 63 Fleers, especially this card with Roberto Clemente. It's one of the few cards in this era that refers to Roberto Clemente by his actual name and not Bob, as all the Topps cards did in this era. So this is a great card to have for that reason. Such a great image. 63 Fleer set it's kind of underrated if you ask me. But this is, diamond cut on the back, not great. I, again, was kind of hoping for maybe a 3 on this, but it got a 2.5. So nothing crazy off on that. Again, it goes back to that question of the grading standards. It's okay, do I think this card is a 3, or do I just want it to be a 3? I wanted it to be a 3, but I can accept that it's a 2.5. The next one, maybe a little bit more, I don't know if miffed is the right word, but I do think that maybe this is one that I would have really honestly thought was a 3, and it's the Sandy Kofax. I think I had bought this raw. By the way, I should have mentioned this on the Clemente. This card was actually in a CGC or CSG slab, and it was a 3. And I cracked it out so I could put it in the binder, and then I decided to grade it again, and I got a 2, bumped down to a 2.5. So maybe that's why I really wanted it to be a 3. But this is another one that I thought to myself, yeah, this could be a 3. Decent centering, little OC on the back, nothing too crazy. Nice card overall. Was kind of hoping for a 3, but it did just get a 2.5. I can live with it. It's not the end of the world, but again, probably not one that I'm going to hang on to. Another card that is probably in the for sale or trade area that was a binder card was this 58 Brooks. So this is second year Brooks. Let me hold on a second. Let me move this just so it's not shading out the top of the card. There you go. I mean, this card is what it is, right? It's Topps made some very interesting choices back in the day in terms of pictures they used for the players, and maybe they didn't think Burk Robinson was going to be a great player because he wasn't really a good player until the latter half of 1959, and he just has this terrible look on his face in this. But this is a really nice card, but it's just off center, and I figured I would send it in. See the backs on the old 58s there. But nice card, good second year Brooks, and this got a 3, which was kind of what I was expecting, especially with the centering issues. This is better centered. This is probably a 5, but nice card is what it is. Okay, a couple 53s now. This is one that the first one is one that I was pleasantly surprised with the grade, so nothing to be upset about on this one. This is a really nice Monty Irvin. Man, you gotta love the 53 Topps cards. Tough on the bottom, chipping there, but the images are so good. They're so perfect. See the back there. I wasn't sure what. I thought maybe this was going to get a 3, and it got a 4. So I was pleasantly surprised with this. I'm on the fence on if I'm going to keep this card or not. I may sell this one, but really like it. The next one is definitely staying in the PC, and it's the one card of this player that I have. This is the second to last card. I kind of ended up flying through these a little bit. This is one that I bought raw, and I had it raw for a while, and it's a nice, another 53, this nice 53 feller. Again, chipping on the bottom there, but this is such a classic image of one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Rapid Robert, the heater from Van Meter, lifelong Indian, and a prolific signer. I don't think anybody in history signed more autographs than Bob Feller. He lived a very long time. He lived to be 92 years old, and it was a fixture signing autographs. Maybe Pete Rose is the only one that signed more than Bob Feller. But you see the back there. I just, like I said, I'm going to keep this one in the PC as like the Feller in my PC, and the card probably from the 53 set that I'm going to keep and show off. I was expecting a 3 on this, and that's what it got. So again, pretty happy with this. Beautiful card. I'm going to leave Bob up right there, and then I'll adjust the camera later at the end. But the last card, I was again not expecting a big grade on this, but this is one that I sent in raw, that I bought raw from my friend Fish. Shout out to Fish. Paul Wainer 33 Gaudy. And as you can see, there's this like staining there. I thought that the card still presented really well, and I got a really good price from Fish on this. The back is the problem. Like, it's just, I don't know what this stuff is back here. Was not expecting anything more than a 1, and that's exactly what I got. So, yeah, so there you go. So I'm gonna put Paul down right there too, and then I am going to adjust the camera a bit so you can see all of those two guys. So there you go. So those are my SGC grades for this time. Was pretty happy overall with what I got back from SGC. So let me know what you thought of these grades. Let me know what you thought of these cards. Would appreciate your take. Let me know your thought on the whole SGC stuff. It is what it is, right? I mean, SGC is still here, and I'm going to keep sending cards to them until they tell me not to. So thanks very much for watching. We've got some more content coming over the course of this week. Hope you check us out. Please subscribe to our channel. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so we want to thank everybody for their support. Check out where to follow us on our social media channels. Check out our ComC store. We got a lot of cool stuff in there. And also, please check out our list of favorite nonprofits and charities. We would really appreciate it if you could support one of them. So thanks very much for watching, and we will see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.